Hello friends, welcome. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, when John Hopkins updated its website, we have this horrific number of COVID-19 cases. Almost 10 million cases and almost 500,000 deaths reported so far. These are horrific numbers, and we can see that each and every part of the world is affected by coronavirus. So today we are going to learn about the pathogenesis of coronavirus. So let's begin. This is a human lung. Coronavirus infect the respiratory system. Around 80% of this is upper respiratory system and they get cured easily. Things get worse when in 20% cases when this virus goes down to the lower respiratory tract, which here I can show is the alveoli. And these alveoli, as you can see, are enriched with the blood vessels. If you magnify these alveoli, we can see something like this. So these are the blood vessels. These are the blood vessels passing through this alveoli. There are two types of cells. These are type 1 alveolar cells or pneumocytes, and the other cell is type 2. Type 2 pneumocytes or alveolar cells. Now, when coronavirus enters into the respiratory tract, they come across with these type 1 pneumocytes. These are basically here for exchange of gases like, as we know, carbon dioxide and oxygen, whereas the type 2 pneumocytes are here which produces surfactant proteins. Surfactants proteins. Now these proteins help in the elasticity of the lung. Elasticity of lungs. So that they can expand and contract so that these exchange of gases can take place. So this virus enters into the system and it reaches here to type 2 pneumocytes. Here we have a receptor which is called as ACE2 receptors and angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptors. These receptors are also present on type 1 pneumocytes, but mostly they are present on type 2 pneumocytes and they are in larger number. So here this coronavirus has a spikes. These are called as spike proteins. So the structure of coronavirus, roughly we know there are spikes, right? So there are two kind of spikes. One is S spike. Now this S spike protein actually goes and bind to ACE2 receptor, and from here coronavirus can transfer its RNA into the human host cell. Later on there are many proteins, so this RNA use host machinery. So this is RNA and it use host machinery for translation, which means making protein. So it makes multiple proteins. So there are polyproteins which are coded by this RNA. Later on, they also code for a protease which cut down this and make proteins. These are proteases which cut down this, and then they unite to form a coronavirus. Okay, so here this is the site where replication is taking place. Now in the next stage, what happens that some of this virus come out, so they are going to infect the other cells, neighboring type 2 pneumocytes. Also some of them will be engulfed by the macrophages. After engulfing this, so the macrophages, as we know, are the primary defense line for our immune system, and what they do is they get activated. They also activate lymphocytes, which may be T cells and B cells, but mostly these are T cells which get activated because of this cytokines. Now after activation of these T cells, they start secreting more cytokines. So these are cytokines, these are the molecules which are secreted by our primary immune system as a defense against the virus or bacterial infection. Now these cytokines start activating other immune cells, like they activated a macrophage, they activated a T cell. Now T cell is further producing these cytokines and activating these alveolar macrophages, dendritic cell, etc. Okay, so now here you can see these are the bloodstream. So in bloodstream there are different lymphocytes, T cells, B cell, macrophage. They are moving, and because of these cytokines they get a recruitment signal. So now these cells will start moving into the system. So these are the cells which are now entering into the system, like these dendritic cells. There is a recruitment of these neutrophils. These neutrophils are coming in, and there is interaction of like T cell with dendritic cell, and they start producing different kind of cytokines, and this whole thing brings a cytokine storm which causes the first severity of this disease, which means the disease is getting worsened in this step. So now what will happen, that these cells will come, and now because of this you can understand that there is lots of inflow is taking place from the bloodstream to the lungs, and this would be a hyaline layer which is developing here, which is like fluid. So as we know, as we see these alveoli, right? So these alveoli are like a sac in which these bloodstream were going on, and now they started pushing stuff into it, and so what will happen, that there would be a high concentration and there would be a shrinkage in the lungs. So this part is actually showing that this now lungs are getting shrinked, and there is something called as hyaline membranes which are formed. They are recruitment of new cells. These are fibroblasts. These fibroblast recruitment is taking place, and which later cause lung fibrosis. So the capacity of lungs to expand will be reduced, and because there is hyaline membrane, there is fluid in there, lungs are not easily contracting because of the fibrosis. This is what we called as ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome. Now in this case the patients require ventilators, or support for the respiration to continue. They are unable to breathe properly by themselves. So this is all basic what we can say that pathogenesis which is taking place. So this is from the disease onset, how the virus enter, there is a cytokine storm, and then this disease becomes severe when this happens. I hope you like this video, and for COVID drug interventions, stay tuned. Thank you.